Hi everybody, today we look at the classical limit and the quantum limit, and we see the conditions under which a system has to be treated classically or quantum mechanically. In classical mechanics, we know we can specify simultaneously both Qi and Pi, the position and momentum for a particle. But in quantum mechanics, the uncertainty principle prevents this. Okay, we know due to the uncertainty principle, we cannot simultaneously specify both position and momentum. The classical description is a reasonable approximation when the effect of h, the Planck's constant, is negligible, that is delta x delta p, delta q delta p. Okay, uncertainty in position and uncertainty in momentum, it is much greater than the Planck's constant h. Okay, so under this condition, the effect of this h is very small, and we actually approximate the system to a classical description. And in the case of molecule in a gas, if we consider motion of a molecule in a gas, suppose that if P average denotes its mean momentum and R average denotes the mean separation from other identical particles. Okay, then the classical description is valid when this R average, because the uncertainty in the position, that will be in the order of, or it will be approximately R average, and the uncertainty in the momentum, that will be P average, okay, the minimum uncertainty. So if this product is much greater than h, the classical description is valid. Okay, now this can be written as R average much greater than h by P average. Okay, so this h by P average, that is the de Broglie wavelength or lambda. So R average much greater than lambda average. Okay, R average much greater than lambda average. This is the condition for the classical limit. Okay, so R average, we know that is a mean separation of the molecule from other molecules. Lambda average is its de Broglie wavelength. The lambda average is actually a measure of the spread of the molecule in space. Okay, it is actually a measure, the de Broglie wavelength is a measure of the spread of the molecule in space. So when R average is much greater than this lambda average, then what happens is the molecular wave functions do not overlap. Okay, the molecular wave functions, they will not overlap because they are very much separated from each other, and therefore they are distinguished by their position. Okay, so for classical description, we have this R average, the mean separation between the molecules, much greater than the de Broglie wavelength. Okay, now to give a physical meaning to the equation, to this equation, we imagine that each particle occupies a tiny cube of side R average. So we imagine a cube of side R average, and each molecule occupying such cubes of side R average, and these cubes fill the volume V. So the total volume is filled by such cubes, and there are n particles in the system. So volume of each, or volume occupied by each particle, is R average cube. So R average cube into n, that will be equal to volume. So R average will be V by n, to the power 1 by 3. Okay, so this is R average. Then the mean energy of the particle, we take the classical equation, the 3 by 2 kT, the mean energy of a particle is 3 by 2 kT. So that is, we know this energy is the kinetic energy, so that is P average square by 2m. So P average will be 3m kT to the power half. Lambda average will be approximately h over, when we divide h by this P average, we get the lambda. So that will be h over 3m kT to the power half, or root 3m kT. So the condition for classical description, R average much greater than lambda average, the de Broglie wavelength now becomes, for R average I can give this V by n to the power 1 by 3. Okay, and for lambda average we take h over root 3m kT. So this is the condition for the system to be described classically, or the classical limit. Okay, in statistical mechanics, actually this wavelength lambda average is actually taken as the thermal wavelength. The thermal wavelength is this h over root 2 pi m kT. Okay, so actually in later sections, later units, we will be taking actually h over root 2 pi m kT, not this 2 pi m kT to the power half as the wavelength, which is called the thermal wavelength. Anyway, since this is the equation for the classical limit, condition for classical limit, we know for this condition to be satisfied, n has to be small. Okay, n has to be small, and the temperature has to be large. Okay, temperature has to be large, and m is not too small. Okay, m should not be too small. Okay, so when V by n to the power 1 by 3, this is much greater than this, the classical limit can be applied. Suppose that we have an enclosure containing a single particle. We refer to this particle as 1. Okay, we label it as 1. Now if the particle is in state A, suppose that it is in state A, the particle can be in different single particle state. If it is in state A, it will be characterized by a wave function psi A of 1. Okay, the state A, first particle. Okay, now if you have another particle labeled as 2 alone in the enclosure, instead of the first particle we have another particle which is labeled as 2, and it is in state B, its wave function is psi B of 2. Okay. Okay, now suppose that both particles are present simultaneously. Both the particles are present simultaneously and they do not interact. Okay, they do not interact. There is no interaction between them. So this is represented by psi A of 1 into psi B of 2. Okay, first particle labeled as 1 is in state A, particle labeled as 2 is in state B. So psi 1, 2 is this simple product of the wave function. And if there are n identical particles, then the wave function of the system, that is given by this psi of 1, 2, comma n, psi A1, psi B2, like that, psi z of n. So we just simply take the product of the individual wave functions. Okay. So when this equation holds, the individual wave functions do not overlap appreciably. Okay, and an exchange of particles, if I exchange a particle, say 1 which is originally in state A is exchanged with the particle 2 labeled as 2 in state B, so I will get a new wave function. Okay, in fact there will be n factorial such wave functions. If the wave functions for the exchange of the particles. So anyway, if the particles are distinguishable, in this case the particles are distinguishable. When you exchange the particles, you get a new wave function. Okay, and the wave functions do not overlap. Okay, the wave functions do not overlap appreciably, and the exchange of particle produces a new state, a new wave function like this. So in this case, the system considered is classically particles are identical, but they are distinguishable because the wave functions do not overlap. Now in the quantum limit, we have seen the classical limit. This is classical limit. The quantum limit, the mean separation of the particles is much less than the average de Broglie wavelength. Okay, so what happens is the one particle wave functions overlap. The one particle wave functions overlap. So a given particle in the gas cannot be localized. Okay, the particles are actually then is said to be indistinguishable because the state of the gas is described by a single wave function psi 1 2 n 1 2 n. Actually this cannot be decomposed in any meaningful simple way like this. Here we wrote psi, the wave function of the system, as product, simple product of the individual wave functions when the particles are distinguishable. Here, since the wave functions are overlapping, one particle wave functions are overlapping, you cannot write the wave function of the system, okay, in a simple way as we wrote in the classical limit. So the particles are indistinguishable and quantum statistics must be employed. And the condition is this. We have seen the R average much less than lambda average, which will be V by n to the power 1 by 3 much less than H over root 3 mkt, or as I said earlier, we may take, instead of this, root 2 pi mkt, the thermal wavelength. Okay.